What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Andy the Destroyer Ruiz and I Walk This Earth Like a God, Charles Martin. Get this, Andy Ruiz versus Charles Martin, possibly for October. By Dan Ambrosi, former heavyweight world champions Andy Ruiz Jr. and Charles Martin could be meeting in October in a fight that will put the winner in a strong position to challenge for the world title in 2022. Ruiz versus Martin is a classical 50-50 toss-up fight, and it should be an exciting one from start to finish. If Ruiz loses, he can say goodbye to any hopes of getting a trilogy fight against Anthony Joshua. Basically, Ruiz's career will be on the line against Martin, making it a fun fight for the fans. Will Martin wreck Ruiz's dreams of a third payday with Anthony Joshua? Who knows? ESPN Knockout is reporting that Ruiz versus Joshua could be happening next as long as the negotiations go smoothly between the two former heavyweight world champions. The former IBF heavyweight champion Charles Martin has looked good recently in his last three fights since his controversial 10-round decision against Adam Kalnaki in 2018. In Martin's last three fights, he's beaten Gerard Washington, Gregory Corbin, and Daniel Martz. The 31-year-old former IBF, WBA, and WBO champion Ruiz is training with his coach Eddie Reynoso in San Diego, making improvements and continuing to trim weight off slowly. Now, let me counterpunch. They're in negotiation, and it looks good. It looks great because both of these guys have had their beef with Dillian Whyte, and I think the way things are going, maybe those guys, whoever the winner could be, could fight Dillian Whyte. Then hopefully can get a fight with someone like Joshua or Fury or Wilder or whoever wins out of those guys, or even Usyk. You gotta remember him. So it looks good for the heavyweights. I hope the fight happens because these guys, the fight makes sense. The fight is politically could happen, okay, because they're both fighting under PBC Fox, and I think that this fight looks like a fight that happens and can happen or should happen for many, many reasons. For one, they both hate Dillian Whyte and they could fight Dillian Whyte later on. That's one. For two, Charles Martin and Ruiz, they have a common denominator. Who is that? Manny Robles. Okay? Manny Robles trained Andy Ruiz, slept in his bed, trained him when he left Bob Arum, got him positioned to do something that made history for a whole nation of people, which was beating Anthony Joshua and becoming the first heavyweight of Mexican descent ever to have the titles, and let alone the unified title. So he damn near had everyone except one, and that was the WBC, which was held at the time by Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. So, you know, he had that, and then, of course, they broke up, and that separation was kind of nasty. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. So, you know, Manny Robles then poured his knowledge into other fighters like Charles Martin, and again, he has looked impressive since him being outpointed by Adam Kalnaki, okay? So I think that would put a fire under Manny Robles, on top of the fact that he knows Andy Ruiz. He knows what his habits are, and that would be a good way to get some get back, at the same time continuing to pour knowledge into Charles Martin to get him prepared to do whatever he's going to do with the rest of his career. Okay, these are former champions also, so you got these former guys. They're like ex-kings, and you know, the IBF versus, you know, the former IBF guys getting into the fight and doing what they can do for a later date. Charles Martin knows Andy Ruiz because I think they've sparred a bit, so they know each other, and I think Charles Martin was in the camp of Andy Ruiz before he lost to Anthony Joshua to get the belts back. So they are acquainted with each other. Manny Robles knows Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz didn't look too good against Chris Arreola, and it looks like he may have that weight. He may have lost some resistance, okay, and some durability by losing that weight. So that's what it seemed like to me when he fought Chris Arreola. Not taking anything away from Chris, because Chris has power as well. He's an heavyweight. If he hits you right, you can say good night. Bars. So at the end of the day, I think there's many reasons why this fight could happen. Al Heyman's a common denominator. Manny Robles is a common denominator. They're former champions. They all have a hatred for Dillian White, and that could be the next payday for those guys' career if they want that type of fight. You know what I mean? Because concerning according to Dillian White, they don't want that fight. But they can always fight each other, and I think there shouldn't be any reason why these negotiations shouldn't go smoothly. And I think this is a fight that we definitely need for the heavyweight division based on looking at all the other fights that we didn't get in other weight classes due to other crap. Okay, so, you know, I like this idea. I hope this fight gets made. I know Manny Robles is you know, I think that would be vested interest in Manny Robles, to show him that, hey, I can take another fighter and do just as good with him. In fact, let me try that on you, because that's who we're going to train for. So it looks very suspicious and, you know, very intriguing to me, right? And I like that idea. I like the idea of this fight. And for the record, before I forget, I don't feel that Adam Kownacki and Charles Martin was a controversial loss. No. Adam Kownacki did enough to win that fight. He's a volume puncher. He's a pressure fighter, and he pressured Charles Martin. Charles Martin came on later and started landing bombs. I just think he started too late. Okay, but I don't think he won that fight. I think it was a very interesting, very action-packed fight. And Charles Martin showed that he was tough and he could take punches from guys that throws volumes of shots. You know what I mean? So it was matter of fact, that was one of my best heavyweight fights, non-championship, in the last 5 years. So Charles Martin, I think he's learned a lot on reflexes and a lot of other things, you know, thanks to Manny Robles. So if the fight happens, we should see fireworks, and I would love to see the build-up in the press conference. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Charles Martin possibly taking on Andy, the Destroyer Ruiz. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.